comparison is the thief of joy, and encourages her not to compare herself to Arthur. Everyone grows at their own pace, and her time will come. But Alina, still upset, asks how Arthur became so strong in the first place. Well, even Alice does not know the answer for this question, and honestly admits that she doesn't really know either. She explains that aside from a little sword training Reynolds gave him, they didn't do much to shape his abilities. This revelation startles Mrs. Helstia. While she acknowledges that Arthur is undoubtedly a gifted child, the idea that he reached such an extraordinary level of skill without formal training sounds almost unbelievable. She is convinced there's more to this story and presses Alice for answers. Alice then further admits that Arthur is indeed hiding something from them. She confesses that even they, his parents, don't fully understand what it is. Mrs. Helstia advises her to just ask Arthur directly as his mother, like how he became so strong while he was away, and how, even before the bandit attack, he was already so skilled with the sword. She is sure that both Reynolds and Alice must be dying to know the truth. Of course, as a doting mother, Alice does want to know everything her son is hiding and why he hasn't shared it with them yet. But she explains that giving him the space and support to open up when he's ready is what being a good parent means to her. With that, they set their worries aside and resume their errands. As the group walks through the bustling streets, a shady figure observes them from a distance, carefully taking note of their movements. In the back alleys, this shady man meets another shady guy cloaked in mystery. He informs his companion to relay to Lord Sebastian that the Mana Beast wasn't with the group today. Furthermore, a mage from Xyrus Academy was guarding them, which made trailing them extensively impossible. However, he adds that the boy, who is most likely the master of the Mana Beast, is expected to attend the 10th anniversary event at the Helstia auction house. The second shady guy replies that they will make sure to inform Lord Sebastian right away and that the auction event will be their best opportunity to act. Meanwhile, Vincent finds himself sitting before Arthur, who is seated calmly yet exudes an air of authority. The way Arthur carries himself, his posture and presence, feels as if Vincent is sitting in the presence of a king. In fact, Vincent is more nervous now than he's ever been before the King of Sapan. He also notes how starkly different Arthur's demeanor is compared to when he's with his family. The relaxed and carefree boy he had observed earlier seems like a completely different person. The commanding aura Arthur displays now feels like his true nature. Adjusting his glasses to compose himself, Vincent greets Arthur politely, saying it's his pleasure to speak with him. Arthur initiates the conversation, explaining the reason for his sudden intrusion. He requests Vincent's help in procuring a few items. Specifically, he asks for a protective cloak, preferably one with a hood, a decent sword suited to his size, and a mask capable of altering his voice. Vincent assures him that a cloak shouldn't be a problem to acquire. However, crafting a voice-altering mask would require an artificer with expertise in sound magic, likely a divination mage. Vincent suddenly pauses, questioning himself internally. With the anniversary event already burying him in work, why is he going out of his way to accommodate this child? Yet, even as the thought crosses his mind, he knows he can't bring himself to refuse Arthur's request. Something about the boy demands compliance. Arthur, on the other hand, is truly grateful for Vincent's help. Although he doesn't have any money to offer as compensation, he thinks of another way to repay Vincent for his kindness. However, Vincent quickly refuses any form of compensation. He explains that Arthur's father has been an immense help ever since they began working together. Thanks to Reynolds and the training he's provided for their guards, thefts and fights in the auction house have reached their lowest point ever. But our boy still insists that he still wants to offer something in return. Apparently, he has recently discovered a method that might aid his sister hasten her awakening, and while he is going to help his sister, he can also help Lilia in awakening. This revelation startles Vincent, as neither he nor his wife is a mage. However, Arthur confidently assures him that he can help their daughter awaken as a mage and eventually attend Xyrus Academy. Later, Arthur is seen practicing his beast will. Despite his efforts, he can only wield it for a few seconds before it dissipates. Frustration begins to creep in as he feels his efforts are insufficient. Whether it's his past life or this one, he knows he needs strength to protect the people he loves. His mind drifts to memories from his past life, where he lost someone dear to him and was powerless to stop it. This time, he vows to gain strength, not for revenge, but to ensure the safety of those he holds dear. As Arthur heads back downstairs, he encounters his mother, who has just returned from her errands. She seems angry because she thinks he is making fake promises of helping Lilia in her magic awakening. Mrs. Helstia is equally frustrated, visibly annoyed at the idea that Arthur might be playing pranks on them. Arthur makes it clear that he would never joke about something as serious as this. He reminds them that he made a deal with Mr. Helstia. Later, as they all settle down, Arthur sits between his two sisters, ready to demonstrate something no one expected. He begins explaining that mana is best sensed during slow and deep breaths that follow a precise rhythmic pattern. He strives to keep the explanation simple and clear as he prepares to demonstrate the technique. Arthur first instructs them on the first step, to breathe in a special way. He even closes his eyes to demonstrate the proper technique. As soon as both ladies try to follow, there are many hurdles to overcome to get their breathing right. But once he sets the stage, Arthur decides to check if his theory is working. He warns them that their bodies might feel a little hot, but they should continue breathing the way he instructed. As they persist in their rhythmic breathing, they begin to see small artifacts with their own eyes. Arthur then tells them to focus on gathering the white sparks together, because these little lights are their friends and need to be united in order to be happy. After the training session, the three of them are exhausted. Vincent has a lot of questions, particularly about how this method will help his daughter become a mage. Arthur explains that it will take a few years, but if he can help them with the first few months of training, Lila should have no trouble awakening as a mage. Before he can finish his sentence, Mrs. Helstea suddenly hugs him tightly. Overcome with emotion, she begins to cry, thinking of how Arthur has just opened up endless opportunities in front of their daughter, opportunities that her non-mage parents are unable to offer. Vincent, too, is overwhelmed, and the moment is heavy with emotion. From that point on, Arthur's life falls into a comfortable rhythm. Every morning he trains, then helps his sister and Lila get closer to awakening. Even with his impatience to grow stronger, he makes sure to spend time with everyone, knowing that there wouldn't be many more opportunities like this in the future. 2 months later, it's finally time for the twin horns to arrive. Arthur stands anxiously in front of the door, eagerly awaiting their arrival. When the door is knocked, he rushes to open it, and instantly Angela bursts through, wrapping him in a tight hug. Durden is there as well, looking even bigger than the last time Arthur saw him. Despite his imposing size, Durden's heart is just as soft, and the sight of Arthur brings back memories that make him emotional. Adam, meanwhile, is as cheerful and energetic as ever, exuding the same lively presence. Helen, on the other hand, almost chokes Adam for his antics. She's also smitten to see how handsome Arthur has become since they last met. Jasmine, the quiet one, steps forward as well and gives Arthur a tight hug. Her tears flow as she continues to apologize to him for not protecting him back then. Later, everyone gathers, ready for the day ahead. The gentlemen come down after getting prepared, and soon, once everyone is assembled at the exit door, they prepare to leave for the Helstea auction house. They leave the mansion and climb into the carriages. The vehicles zoom through the bustling streets of the city. As they sit together, Arthur begins to reveal the entire backstory of how he ended up back with them, sharing the details of his journey and everything that led him to this moment. Adam expresses his apologies for all the trouble Arthur had to endure after he fell from the cliff, though they are glad that at least Arthur was able to form a bond, which is something even seasoned adventurers and nobles rarely achieve. Suddenly, the carriage screeches to a halt, and 2 servants step forward to welcome and escort our party. Arthur is awestruck when he actually sees the Helstea auction house for the first time. The 10th anniversary of the Helstea auction house is an event that nobles and adventurers alike have been eagerly anticipating. It won't just be a celebration, but also a chance to see, and perhaps buy, priceless artifacts that have been kept locked away and guarded for this particular event. As soon as Arthur lays his eyes on the magnificence of this place, he's struck with awe. The exterior of the building is amazing, but the inside holds up just as well. Vincent then addresses everyone, reminding them that since today is a big day, they should get their heads together and make sure no mistakes are made. Reynolds also takes charge, instructing and assigning soldiers to their respective posts. Arthur, Mrs. Helstea, and Alice make their way into the grand auditorium before everyone else. The place is so massive that it could easily house more than 10,000 people. Arthur, who had been a king and lived among the royal family of the Elenoir kingdom, finds what he's currently seeing jaw-dropping, even for him. Mrs. Helstea inquires about Arthur's opinion on the auction house, to which he responds that calling it a house would be an understatement. Lilia then assures Arthur to wait until he sees the private viewing rooms at the top, as he's going to be even more awestruck. And as expected, the private viewing room is nothing short of magnificent. It even has its own bar, with a bartender ready to serve them delicious drinks. Lilia and Island then peek through the windows and notice that people have already started to arrive, and the place is already bustling with life. Suddenly, a servant arrives and informs Mrs. Helstea that the VIP guests have arrived and will be here soon. Our family members stand respectfully as the knights ensure the esteemed guests are escorted inside. The guests are none other than the king's family: King Blaine Glider, Queen Priscilla Glider, Prince Curtis Glider, and Princess Kathleen Glider. Seeing the other guests, the king inquires of Vincent why he must share the space with them. Vincent quickly reminds His Majesty that this is his family. He brought them here because he remembers that His Majesty had explicitly wished to see his family. Vincent introduces his wife, Tabitha, and his daughter, Lilia. He then introduces Alice Lewin, his close friend's wife, along with their children, Arthur and Eleanor Lewin. The king seems to be a very laid-back person, and happily tells Alice and her children to stand up because Vincent's friends are his friends as well. After all, they are all here to congratulate the Helsties on the 10th anniversary of this wonderful place, and to enjoy the event. Queen Glider suddenly notices the little mana beast Arthur has acquired. Arthur quickly responds to the queen that she just hatched several months ago and introduces her as Sylvie. This also catches the attention of the king himself, who quickly asks if perhaps this mana beast is his bond. Arthur doesn't shy away from claiming that it is. The king seems so fond of this little creature that he even tickles her. He can tell Arthur is fortunate to have her, as even infant beasts are not easy to tame, yet she seems very obedient. Arthur quickly states that he can communicate mentally with the beast, so it's more like a mutual agreement rather than simple obedience. That's when a shady old man grabs everyone's attention by questioning if Arthur is implying that he's under an equal contract with the mana beast. Arthur hesitates briefly before affirming, claiming that Sylvie was the one who initiated the contract. The old man then quickly puts his hand over Arthur's to check what kind of bond he has. But before this shady old man can succeed in his intention, the king stops him, reminding him that this is neither the time nor the place to study someone's pet. The man stumbles over his feet and apologizes heartily. To diffuse the tension, Mrs. Helsty quickly chimes in and requests the king that the event is about to start, and requests that he take a seat. It seems like this old man might be behind those hooded bastards who had been trailing Arthur and his family for quite some time. Lo and behold, the Helstia auction event is underway. The host welcomes the esteemed audience for their most anticipated event, their chance to obtain the rarest items in their collection. Excited more than ever, the guests roar in celebration and excitement, and a round of applause follows afterwards. The host instructs the audience to turn south before they can officially start. Special mention is given to the most important figures of the land of Sapan, the royal family. The audience respectfully pays them the deserving respect, and with that, the honors have concluded. The host finally addresses the man who made the entirety of the event possible. Vincent Helsty makes his presence known as Arthur, and the others clap for him. The scene is nostalgic of his previous life as a king, but he tries to shake those memories off instead of reliving the past. After, the kid hasn't even hit his growth spurt, and he's already thinking about being king again. Arthur manages to sneak in some alcohol while no one was paying attention while Lilia is busy with Ellie. Just up ahead, he sees his mother talking to the queen. Observing her wand, he instantly concludes that she's a conjurer-magician. There's also the fact that he's yet to sense her presence, which means the woman must be actively using a concealment artifact to hide it, or she's so powerful that he merely can't even sense it. She gives him a good look, causing him to feel slightly embarrassed. Arthur thinks it's rather strange that he doesn't really fancy any of the older women as his romantic interests, even though they're about the same age he died. He thinks it's possible due to his mother being in the same age group, but at the same time, Arthur doesn't find himself attracted to those younger than him either. He's in a weird situation and thinks his dating life is temporarily ruined for good. His train of thought is disrupted by the man himself, who knows about Arthur's ambitions to purchase a good sword. Vincent drops him the offer of a lifetime to place a bid on the sword, and he's even ready to cover the costs for the kid. The short sword coming up for display is made by a legendary mastersmith, and it's got notable qualities. For example, just reinforcing the sword with a slight hint of mana will produce electricity around the edges of the blade. This adds to the cutting power and even releases a paralysis effect on the victim. Arthur's interest has peaked and the bidding quickly kicks in. For such a weapon, many of the guests are competitive and keep raising prices upwards of 50 gold coins. Let's compare how the currency works in comparison to a modern house. 1 gold coin is enough to purchase it, and even an average family can easily live on a few copper coins without any trouble. That means, just the opening bid for this expensive blade could easily sustain a family for a quarter of a millennia. Vincent is out here acting like Elon Musk's fictional son and simply asks the kid if he likes the weapon or not. Arthur confirms that he does like the blade, but he isn't looking for something so bold and unique. That's just the way Vincent expected the boy to react, however. He thinks it's okay for the boy to choose something else. As for the rest of the items he requested, they've already been arranged. Arthur is excited because he's expecting the voice-altering mask to be one of the items on the list. Vincent acts like a hotshot who could fetch any artifact from any corner of the world. He acted urgently and got what the kid wanted. Arthur is the happiest he's ever been, but like a responsible adult, Vincent advises the kid to use the item wisely, or he'll be the one to catch trouble from his family. In the end, Vincent was proven correctly. The sword was nothing compared to the rarer items that followed. There were a few weapons and beast cores that even the king found himself interested in. He placed extremely high bids and won himself an A-class beast core. But of course, he has yet to manifest the powers of the core to find out if it has a beast will or not. Arthur finds himself stretching to ward off the laziness, and finds himself confused when he sees Sylvie missing. He asks Lilia, who also doesn't know, so he starts inspecting the furniture to see where she went. Suddenly, he hears the cute little beast hiss in fear, as if it was being threatened by someone. The ugly bastard Sebastian is trying to get his dirty hands on her, making Sylvie weep in fear. Arthur sees this, and just like any pet owner getting their best friend harassed, he wants to slap the shit out of this frickface. But he tolerates himself, knowing that this asshole is a royal mage. He simply calls Sylvie to his side and prepares to leave. Instead of facing humiliation,